to get his silly tushy in here. Just ping him all the time. There he is. We're about to do a... Yeah, we were about to do a team ping. Just slap you with all the pings.
A team ping? That sounds fucking terrifying.
A team ping. Like, a team coordinated pinging.
I'm going to assume probably 30 pings from each of you.
Simultaneously. It was going to be
I tend to ping until
attack.
I get bored, so...
And you don't get bored for shit.
No.
No, that's why he was my logistics chief. Bing, 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 bing. Hello, Pupper. Hello, Pupper. Alright, so welcome everyone, viewers, audience, and players included, to episode 15 of Beyond the Veil. This episode has been deemed the Call of Athena. Sorry, I was thirsty. And we are continuing on from last session. Who I have with me today is, of course, the lovely Moist Cactus playing Cactus. We have our dear friend Blackburn playing Creed. We have Dr. Fishy Biscuits and Fly Dutchman playing the respective selves. Zarya will most likely cast Gun, as is tradition. Pew pew! A little bit of housekeeping first and foremost is that the bit rates have changed because Saturday was a chaotic mess. I had 4 people all pay for curses simultaneously, and that was definitely a deal breaker on my end because I was trying to get everything balanced and pushing. So if you haven't already, join the Discord where you can post your ideas for curses. And to activate them is much higher, and it's only 1 per session, where instead of before it was 2 or more, it is now 1, and it only be put forward. I'd rather you guys focus on rerolls for the party to give them a little bit of an edge, but past that, we will go from there. If you haven't heard me talk about it already, whether on the podcast or whether on other gaming nights, the final session of Beyond the Veil will be the 30th of July, and we will be starting the next campaign. That will be a continuation of it, probably 2nd or 3rd week of August, as I will be at Gen Con 1st week of August. I'll be there giving us big reps with some of the other D&D panels. Going and bringing Carson for her first convention, doing some cosplay, and meeting up with some very interesting individuals. Awesome sauce, indeed. So we'll be starting up on Fridays at 9 is the time I'm pinning. I talked about it yesterday, and I had 4 people step up, go, hey, we would like to join in on the game. And I went, sure, why not? Actually, it was 3. So, currently we have Blackburn, Cactus, Rexus, Bird, and Jenna locked in for character slots. So we'll see what goes down. But with that, now that we've gotten some housekeeping done, we're going to go into a little bit of a recap, because last session was a bit of a doozy. So, last session, you guys finished fighting the Broodlord, the Beast of Yumgaro, and killed it in spectacular fashion. You then were able to rally what forces you could from the forces of Ravenholm and the other military that the War Master had under his command, where you were met with a very large volunteer force who had volunteered to get you across the Great Ocean back to the Western region. When you met with them, they jumped onto landing crafts where you led the charge across it after figuring out where the best beachhead would be. You decide on landing on Dunmarn because it gives you advantage, or at least an advanced line, to multiple areas. You found that 2 of the gods are dead, which was a surprise to say the least, as you weren't sure if you'd be able to kill them, but now it looks like that they can indeed die. So, past that point, you decide to land in Dunbar. It was an easy trek with no real issues to be seen. You land in Dunbar as your forces entrenched, and you waited as you got information from the townspeople who, Dunbar being small, remote, and not of real strategic importance, was left alone for the most part, being not really worth the weight of blood and gold. And so they told you what has been going on, of that where the gods have essentially taken refuge and what has gone forward. They told you that Athena has taken residence in Folkar, Ares has taken Head Thunder, Shiva and Balder are currently fighting over Cauldry in a joint siege. Saint Radric has been taken by Arwan, the Celtic goddess of death, and Crom, the Celtic god of war, has begun his siege against the Glass Keep. The other two, you're not sure where they fell exactly. All they know is that they fell, as there was much conflict over territory between the gods, as the creatures and soldiers they have planted have been guarding the region from intrusion, which you broke through with ease. As you stationed your forces and you began the preparations to move to Folkar, sending a small scouting party towards it, Creed was handed a single golden arrow with a small letter wrapped around its shaft, with a small red ribbon holding it tight. Upon opening, it read simply as a declaration of war, one that was meant to test your mettle and give you the understanding of that you shall not stand in the way of what the gods wish to take, and that even though that you were the ones that let them come back does not mean that they will give you mercy. Upon reading the letter, you saw that arrows blotted the sun as they came over the horizon and fell into Dunbar, killing a number of innocent civilians, breaking much of the infrastructure and buildings as the arrows rained down, ripping through the crafting material and the timbers that held everything together. Your forces thankfully were not injured significantly, but the morale was slightly dampened. That is until the knight stepped forward. And you all looked to the horizon as the arrows finished falling, seeing the destruction that has been wrought, the countless malicious intent towards those that they seemed lower than them, and you decided, as a group, as one action, to see if the gods can truly bleed. And that's where we start today. As you stand with your force, staring off to Folkar, where arrows rained of sizable mass, and you have now deemed it your next point. So what do you do?
Do we ever get the scout sent down?
Yeah,
I guess they're
you had a
they're being
holding force sent to the
besieged.
Great Bridge. So you essentially here, I will put down a marker. So you have a holding force here at the Great Bridge, and you have a scouting force here near Folkar.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to, because I know we'd meant to reach out to the Glass Keep to try to like coordinate some stuff, but knowing that they are under siege, I feel like we should. My idea, and pick this apart, but is we try to handle what's going on in Folkar, and then we can maybe hold Folkar and send some forces to assist the Glass Keep so that it frees them up, and then we can continue moving west. Or we would move south, but they would move west. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Sounds fine with me. I got no problems with it.
Now, an important question. Didn't think to ask before. Are all the gods the same size?
I mean, like, you mean like height-wise? Or like are you talking like physical size?
Yes.
Like, give or take. There are a few that are significantly larger. Like Thor, of course, would be a little bit larger. Same with Kali, but the rest are they would be considered on the higher tier of height, so they wouldn't be large creatures. Some of them, they would still be considered medium, but they'd be on the line of becoming large. They'd be like 7+ feet usually, depending on the mythology that holds them.
All right. That I mean, as far as plans go, it's simple and it can work, Nate.
I mean,
Except this dude.
it just comes down to how you guys want to handle it. If you want to march on Fulcar with a force and deal with Athena for basically the declaration of war she sent you and the innocent she's killed, and then basically send a holding force or leave a holding force at Fulcar and then march down to the Glass Keep, you can do that. Or however you want to do it, basically tell me and I'll set up the tokens so you basically know what your military is doing.
A big problem with us pushing south is we're gonna have to go through that swamp again.
Yeah, going swamp through from Fulcar to Head Thunder. It has been, between the time of your original time in Fulcar and the force that was put there, they were clearing it and fixing it because the roads had become derelict because of the spider and all that.
Well, I'm less worried about like remnants of obesity. I'm concerned that, at least in, I guess, using meta knowledge of actual history, when the gods get involved, they don't play by the rules.
Yeah.
So there could have been something worse in the mud under that swamp.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No,
So-
that's a fair thing to think about, especially since the Greek god of war is current, or the Roman god of war is sitting in Head Thunder.
Yeah. I'll back your play.
All right.
Yeah, I'm thinking though we need to give them like multiple things to think about, which is why I think we need to help get the glass keep free, and then they're like distracted kind of, or there's more than one problem that they've got to worry about, and they can't just focus all their attention on us moving to the south.
Notepad Y. So this is your current force strength at this time. This is what you have in Dunmarin.
And knights are like those mech things, right?
The big mech boys, yes.
Yeah.
So you currently have 9 large knights, 9 tanks, 8 APCs, 12 trucks, and 525 soldiers.
Now that is just in Dunmar. That's not what we have. We set down as a holding force, right?
No, that's your entire military force.
Okay.
This is
Alright.
including your holding forces on the southern side of Dunmar near the bridge and the scouting force you sent to Fulcar. So you can split this how you see fit. Basically, have a plan in play of what you would like to do, and then I will essentially send your forces where you wish, and then they will have their own dice in the background to essentially figure out what the casualties are and all that kind of stuff.
And when after Athena sent that message, there was like a huge arrow attack, right?
Yeah. Her
So do we
and
think
her
this-
fighters basically launched a rain of arrows at you guys.
So she has an army with her.
Yes, each of the gods have their own force with them
Right.
that focuses around who they are. So it's based on different aspects of themselves. As you can probably imagine, Athena has a assload of archers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's one of those things that each one has a standing force. Like they don't have a massive military for each of them, but they have a force that they brought with them through some means or another, which is why they're able to hold certain cities or siege certain areas.
Well, I don't think it does us any good to keep them waiting. Right?
Yeah.
I would, I'd prefer to, like, get them out and be able to fight at a place of our choosing, but also I don't see that happening.
All right, so this is your holding force currently at the bridge, which means your force in Dunmarn is being adjusted. Oh, not one. God damn it. Ah. Put one instead of 8. 8. And your scouting group is essentially a single squad in a small vehicle. So they're basically not going to be counted outside of your main force. So now it just comes down to what do you want to split where, and just give them marching orders, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, does it do us any good to leave anything at Dunmore? I feel like we should commit what we can to this fight to give us a better chance of winning, and then we can always come back to Dunmore and, like, police anything up if we need to. But it doesn't make sense to.
There's no reason to leave a garrison.
Yeah.
Well, you also have the forces that were with the landing crafts. Those themselves are not counted amongst it, but they're just essentially crewmen and weapon crews. They're basically entrenching Dunmar, and so you have a beachhead. So if they have to go get more troopers from Westminster, they have a place to land back.
Well, okay. No worries.
Essentially, you got a bunch of 13Bs that are making sure that Dunmar's a foothold.
Well, then I say we answer the call to war here.
Oh!
So, clarification.
Yeah.
When you say tanks, what do you mean? We're talking like World War I tanks?
Think M60 Pattons.
Oh. Okay.
The proper tank.
I
Like,
was thinking like
They're
land
not.
ships.
They're not land ships. Like, with the technology that the War Master has, he's able to make turreted vehicles. It's just he doesn't have a lot of them. Like the tanks you guys have is all he has. Because between that and the knights, no, I mean that's essentially the best like clarification I can give you. It's like they're not land ships per se. Those are closer to what the APCs look like. The tanks that are like actual turreted tanks, like probably closer to like Panzers or Shermans, but the design aesthetic is essentially they look like Pattons.
It's going to take a lot of arrows to disable a tank. I think we're going. That's good. That works in our favor.
I mean, true, but
You're also fighting the
these could be-
gods, so don't
Yeah, but
don't
we're fighting
talk
a
shit
god.
before you get there.
that arrow might actually have some punch to it.
I'm sorry, all I could think of is the Battle of Aldous Hill.
Mm-hmm.
So, on the right side, we have something to offset their archers. Somewhat. All right, if you believe that is the best plan, let us go. No time like the present. And I was often told it's rude to keep a lady waiting.
Going to set this up as army. Alright, so you guys are basically taking your entire force in Dunmarn and marching on Folkar?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright. So, you guys march on Folkar with your army in tow. The scouting force will fall back into it as you guys encroach. And as you guys get closer, as you cross the halfway point, arrows will be fired at you. These arrows seem to be large and really only cause damage to the trucks, if anything, or the troopers that are walking alongside, as they seem to be fired in a haphazard fashion, more as a deterrent than to be an actual attack. Anything that does seem to pop up in your way as you march down along the road, the knights are quick to dispatch them with extreme prejudice. And so you seem to be making a pretty good progress getting to Folkar in a single piece. And when you stand about a half mile away from Folkar, you can see that the city has been fortified. Whether it was done by the Glass Keep troops or Athena herself is hard to say. The scouts come back and report to you that Athena does have a large archer garrison in this area, and that it seems that she has basically captured and subdued the guards as well as the Glass Keep soldiers that were here prior. Those that did not submit were executed, but for it seems the majority of them wanted to try and keep the civilians alive, so they put themselves in between her and them by essentially just submitting as collateral. So the majority of the force still seems to be here. And as you stand, the forces getting into formation, you can see a tall woman with what you recognize as a Greco-Roman elephant helmet step up onto the walls. She carries a spear and a shield and a bow across her back. She simply stares at you. No words are passed. The battlefield is silent, minus for the rumbling of engines and the creaking of metal as it shifts its weight in between its linking points. She raises the sword or the spear above her head and points at your forces. Archers pop out from the walls, firing arrows that seem to be glistening as they fall. Some of them seem to pierce armor of the vehicles, stick into the plating of the knights. Though damage may seem to have been done, it seems to not stop your forces from approaching. On the next volley, they seem to pull out ballistas. As they try to bring these up to play, your knights begin to fire. A few of them miss, one of them finds their mark, as the rays of light from their cannons swing into the walls, taking out chunks. The tanks and APCs following suit, firing magnificent weaponry of internal combustion, of bullets, of powder, shredding the walls to what it was. You stand in front of your forces as the shots are traded. And Creed, looks like the soldiers around you look to you as you carry the Crucible of Sin still in your hand, your shield in your other. And they seem to be waiting for your command.
We're walking, right?
You guys are essentially stationary about a half mile from Volcar. Probably closer to like half a click. But yeah, you guys aren't moving at this point. You're essentially trading shots, and your shots are definitely doing more work.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and use the cantrip. I always butcher how you say this word. Thaumaturgy?
Thaumaturgy. Yeah.
Yes. Make my voice boom 3 times as loud as normal.
Very good.
Gentlemen, we are here to help those in need. We are here to repel the gods who have chosen to rise up against us. Today, we strike one of May blows. For today, the War Master Leandros has retaken his throne and shall lead us on to victory. And Creed will point the Crucible Sin towards the town. With your shields or on them! Attack!
And with your final words as they echo across the land, you see the knights, the hydraulics, begin to pick up as the legs shift them forward. Their heavy cannons across their chassis firing, saving their heavier weaponry for emplacements. The tanks form formations with the APCs to shield the troopers that march behind them from weapons fire. As the forces begin to come closer, you begin to hear rifle reports from the town, as it seems that in their arrogance, they believed that their weapons would be best suited for normal combat. Unfortunately for them, you are not coming with a conventional force for this region. The gods have been gone for a long time. They were not aware of the advancements of warfare that have taken place due to the War Master's ability to create with the help of his deities that he has forsaken to the void. And so now you use it to your advantage. You approach Volcar at great speed, the chariot being piloted by Cactus, taking the point as the knights follow through with the vehicles and the trucks behind you, spreading out to form pincers along the walls. As you approach, you hear the rifle rounds plink against the armor, the arrows try to pierce through what glass may be there. Your cannon begins to show red sigils, Mr. Cactus, as you approach. Reticles popping up across multiple targets that line the walls as you push the engines harder. The weapons yearning for release. Do you press the buttons?
Oh god, yes. I have gun.
Creed, you hear a voice to pull yourself down into the hatch of the chariot. You all have yourselves strapped into harnesses as the engines pick forward. You hear hydraulic shift, metal change, as the sound of a large caliber cannon begins to fire in an automatic fashion. The whistle and flare of rockets launching from the sides of the chariot, as the wall that was in front of you is no longer there. Athena seems to have retreated to a part of the town you can't see, but the force that was in front of you, a force of 30 or 40 riflemen and archers, is decimated. Your knights following alongside simply throw themselves through the wall, breaking through it and stomping out whatever may lay. Your troopers enter into the town, their own rifle reports, singing with the sound of energy being pushed behind them, the flares of that blue light from the knights from before, but in a smaller fashion, seem to evaporate the troopers of Athena as they raise their hand against them. You do take some casualties, in this conflict, though significantly less than you imagined. The arrows and rifles being fired by the enemy troopers do find their marks on a few. An APC is disabled and overtaken by a swarm of troopers. 20 of your men are killed in the melee that ensues, as they are not as skilled as melee combat as the troopers of Athena, but they make up for the fact of hitting them before they get close. A couple of trucks are lost as their engines give, but thankfully those within survive. And as you approach, you see that your forces, as they measure in more and hitting harder, you see that the town slowly begins to fall into your favor. With no other losses that you can see, the forces being pushed back, you now find yourselves within Folkar. If I can find where I put its image. There it is. You approach from the east as your forces push through the rest, breaking across the river and the inlets that led through. You find yourself in the northmost district. Your scouts telling you that the prisoners are across the river in the Old Hounds. For what it seems that Athena has not shown her face, though her soldiers seem to be hidden amongst the buildings as it turns into a mount situation. Your troopers, well versed in urban combat as they themselves were trained in such an environment, seem to move through relatively quickly, working together as a unified force. Your approach to the Old Hound district seems lack of difficulty. As you get closer, you see that within the Old Hound district seems to be a small building of sorts, a small fortification of walls of fencing that seem to have choked off an area that the prisoners seem to be held in. In front of it, you see a number of archers and riflemen staring down the street as you approach. They all raise their weapons towards you, but seem to be dissuaded from firing as your own soldiers next to you, the chariot itself as well, arming itself and picking it out its best targets to lay waste. And you stand at a stalemate. You see the silhouette of Athena come to the top of the walls within the fortification, simply staring down at the metal beast you find yourself riding in. And it seems that she wishes to speak.
Well, I mean, I'm hooked in, so I can't get out.
I know you can't. That's not...
So I can't do the bar thing.
Green's gonna get on out.
Can we like? Is there like? You said there was a turret that.
There's a turret controlled by Cactus, but there's air seats. Or sky seats, whatever you want to call them. There's hatches that you can pop out of.
Do you want to get out, or you want to just pop your head out and talk to her through that?
I
I'll
would
step out.
I'd get out fully. If she's gonna fucking, if this is gonna go tits up, she's gonna probably try to blow this thing up, and I could probably get out fast enough, but more people that are already out of it is a better option.
If he's willing to speak, it'd be rather rude just to get half out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I'll hop out too.
So, the side hatch unlocks with a hiss on both sides of the chariot. All of you exit, minus Cactus, who stays behind the wheel to keep the vehicle in operation. The turret moving and twitching slightly as his eyes trace from target to target, looking for motion.
World's best crow system.
It's like a Apache gunner mixed with a crow system. It's a gunner's wet dream.
That's terrifying.
You all step out. Each of you armed and carrying the sigil of the army that you fight with, as you all carry your rank. Creed steps out, of course, still carrying the mantle of Watch Commander around his neck, the cloak billowing slightly in the winds that travel through the streets. Your soldiers stand to your side as they all have themselves high ready, looking at the enemies to their front. The enemies at the gates, arming the weapons back at you, all of them at the shoulder, waiting. Athena stands at the wall, seeing you step out, simply yells out to you of, "So you answered my summons. It seems that I underestimated you. I would be wary not to do that again. Much has changed in this world since I was last here. It seems that you peasants, you common folk, have gained weapons of beyond my understanding, and it seems that you have me at a disadvantage. So I wish to parley with you. I imagine you came here not for my own sake, though you have decimated my forces. I imagine you came to save those who cannot save themselves. Isn't that right, Creed of Ravenholm?"
Of course. And might I point out that I was raised to believe it is rude to decline an invitation sent so politely and friendly.
I see that chivalry truly is not dead, and you seem well versed in the rites of warfare. A pleasure, as always, from someone of my standing.
I thank you for the kind words, but if I may be so blunt, I don't care if you are male or female. I shall still cut you down if the battle is to be had. But there's no reason you cannot be polite and civil before all the bloodshed and violence.
I would expect nothing less of an equal battlefield between the two of us, no matter my standing. I am still the god of wisdom of the hunt, the second in command to the god of war, and I would imagine I would meet you on the field in blissful combat, as I find myself with many a fight that I have watched over and commanded. And, of course, you will have your time, as one can believe the lives of those who lay within this prison hang in the balance. And so I ask you this. Are you willing to put yourself on the line for their lives? Or would you rather fight me force to force, as I know your force would easily break into this prison, but how many lives would I end before you got in here?
Question as to whether I'm willing to sacrifice myself for those inside. Well, you said you're the goddess of wisdom.
I simply
Well-
am not asking for you for sacrifice, Mr. Creed. I'm asking for you to fight me in single combat. The winner takes the lives of those that are within the prison. It is either that, or the civilities will end and we will simply go back to our most natural desires of adrenaline, combat, and bloodshed, as the civilities will dissolve.
Creed's just gonna go ahead and think through the ring. So, what are you thinking? What are your guys' thoughts?
Seems like we got her on the ropes here, and we could just fight her all together, like kind of like we did with the Beast of
Young girl.
and yeah,
that thing.
like yeah, it's probably more like honorable to do the one-on-one combat, but like we're here to win, so why risk it?
There's also no guarantee that she shall also abide by the rules if we shall also break them.
There's also, on the counterpoint, there's a chance she has very much been holding back. let's not forget this has been going extremely smoothly so far, and
Yeah, but if she has been holding back, then we're sending Creed to his death instead of like using all of our power to fight her.
well, it comes down to Creed. How much do you value your honor? That's a question for you.
Rather highly.
That it's your call. Because what we could do, Debbie, is simply let you fight her, and if things don't go the way we want, we intervene. I have no reason to doubt, or I have no reason to believe she wouldn't do the same.
Like that's more detrimental to his honor than refusing this one-on-one combat to say, "Now we think we're better as a team than you." So
That said, Athena has betrayed people in the past. She's got a war and I got an honesty.
I suppose I have an option to benefit everyone here. He's thinking this, not saying it.
Right.
If she is to betray me, it should be rather apparent. And as far as I'm aware, she is not aware that we can talk like this. I'd say stand ready, and when she attempts to betray me, betray her back. Would that be sufficient?
It's your honor, dude. If you're okay with it.
He'll uncross his arms. I accept your challenge.
I'm gonna give him before the fight starts. I'm gonna give him fucking bardic inspiration,
All right.
and it's everlasting bardic. So if he ever fails, if he uses his bard and he fails the roll anyway with the bard, it doesn't consume the bard.
Ah, neat.
So it stays until he uses until it helps him succeed.
Very good. You see a smirk come across Athena's face as she pulls the spear from her shoulder and puts the shield upon her arm. She jumps down from the wall, landing in front of you, as her soldiers seem to step to the side and form a half circle. And she goes, "Fine then. Winner takes the lives of those who lay within the prison." And she smiles as she puts her helmet down over her face and taking a combat stance with her spear.
Creed is going to draw his sword and his shield.
Alright, at this point, we're going to need initiative from Creed.
On 11.
So she will be going first.
I would. He was actually going to mention that. Ladies first.
The nice jab in the chest with that one. Very good. So she moves to strike. And so remember with your shield as it stands is that you do have an additional plus 6 to your AC.
All right, so let me go ahead and make sure I have that down because I have a sneaking suspicion that's about to be relevant. Yep, I have that down. All right.
Very good. Very good. And so she goes to make strikes at you in quick succession. And on her first strike, she goes to strike out with the spear. And wow, that was empty. I picked it up almost full. I nearly fucking threw it across my damn room. Physics. Oh, I gotta pull up. I have the wrong page open. Physics, capitalism, yes! I have the wrong thing open. On my little handy dandy booklet. So, Blanc. That is a ho ho ho. Yeah, where are you? So she goes to strike, and the tip hits your shield and glances off completely on her first strike.
All right.
Her second one is a 19, so that's a miss. And her third is a... Are you going to decide? Are you going to pick it? Okay, thank you. Is a 23, which I believe is still a miss because of your shield.
Nope, that's a hit. I go up to 22.
Oh. Not sure AC was higher than that.
Nope.
Alright. So, the first one was a critical miss. The second one was a regular miss. The third is a hit. And so, that is going to be... Not those. Get out of here. Da-da-da. Yeetus is going to be 18. 18 damage.
Is that her final hit?
Yes.
Yeah, so go ahead and cast Hellish Rebuke at level 2.
Right.
She's gonna need to pass a Dex saving throw of 13.
13. Alright. Well, dice was crooked. I love Owlbear and also hate it. Roll the dice. Alright, she fails it. What happens?
She's gonna go ahead and take 13 points of fire damage.
Very nice. Very nice.
Not a bad strike.
As she hits you, you see the fire leap off of your armor and at her, almost like an ERA plate going off in her face, singeing the armor and laying soot across her, the fire catching some of her clothing. And she steps back for a moment, questioning what that was, as she goes, "Ah, a paladin. An interesting choice of commander. Nevertheless, we will see who best who. And it is now your go."
I want to actually do something if I can interrupt for Uno
What can you
Momento.
do?
By all means.
What do?
I would like to cast Pass Without a Trace, mostly on myself or anybody near if they want it. And we're in a town, right? I want
Yeah.
to go post up sniper style, ready to take her down
You're gonna
if I feel the need.
Oh,
She's gonna set up a.
she's gonna go. She's gonna go find a sniper now. She's gonna go Hitman 47 on this motherfucker.
This is a D&D question. Is there a minimum distance for spells?
No.
No. As long as it's within your max range, you can do it.
I didn't know if that was going to be a thing. Like if I cast Guiding Bolt, if I am point blank with something, do I get splash damage from that?
So it doesn't. Guiding bolt doesn't technically do splash damage. It's single target. So
Fireball at your own feet.
fireball at your own feet is a different story.
Yeah, but okay.
But yeah, you can essentially
fireball
Would
cast.
you like to find out?
you can essentially cast spells at point blank. I think they're treated the same way as ranged weapons are, where if you're trying to cast a ranged spell in close combat, you'll be at disadvantage to hit, unless it's something that's working with your close combat spells. Basically, you
Where you
can't
have
hit.
that 1 feet.
Yeah. Unless you have that 1 feet that changes it.
So, Creed is going to cast Guiding Bolt against her.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that it works. Yeah, I got a 22.
Mm-hmm. That's a hit. And Zarya, to answer your question, yes, you are able to increase your stealth by 10 points and go find yourself a nest. Because no one fucking sees you dip out. Including your teammates.
Well, they can also have plus. It's anybody within 30 feet if they like. It's whoever I want to choose, but if they want it, they can have it. If we can twist that a little bit, because
I mean, you can give it to whoever.
Ask anybody.
I mean, it's if you give it to them, it doesn't change anything, unless they
Okay.
go to do stealth stuff, which
They
then would
go
give them
do stealth,
bonuses.
okay.
Yeah, but
So-
you
But-
basically dip out. No one knows you're gone, including your teammates.
Yeah. I want to respect his 1v1ness, but also if it turns to poo poo, I want to help.
Of course. All right, so
Uh,
back to you, Creed.
Respecting the
Dabblage.
disrespect.
that's 19 damage off the guiding bolt,
Very nice.
and then I'm going to go ahead and try and stab her with the Crucible of Sin.
Very good, and you'll have advantage because of the guiding bolt.
I'm gonna need that because that wasn't a. Not much. Oh, 17.
That is just barely a hit. That is a meet.
I'm not gonna say no. But actually, hang on. I need to look something up.
While he's doing that, I'm gonna do the same thing Zarya did, just with the big ass guns.
You're just gonna start looking. You're like,
All right. So, anyways, it's gonna be.
And I'm just scanning the crowd, going, "Hey, who's got a fucking anti-tank weapon?"
That's 10 or that's 12 damage off of the sword.
So you strike her with the Crucible of Sin. You feel the powers coursing through it as you seem more connected with it after your journey across the ocean. But you strike her, and when you cut her across the arm with it, it's not a deadly wound, it's not a vital hit, but you catch her off guard, and the wound immediately begins to burn and fester, almost pushing out boiling blood from it, as you hear her scream in pain from the attack. As a soldier, you know that that kind of wound would not cause this kind of reaction, but the steam coming out of it speaks of another tale entirely.
You're with the sword again.
I can't.
You should have 2 attacks.
I casted guiding bolt,
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
and Creed's gonna back off and do the whole like sword above the shield thing.
Mm-hmm. Take the gladiator stance. Very nice.
Yeah. My apologies. That looks rather painful.
You forsaken monster! What have you done? As you see that she is flustered, she is pulled away as she's still kind of glowing from the hit from the guiding bolt. But she's grasping at her arm as you can hear a sizzle almost coming from the wound. So she is going to try and pull herself together.
Did anyone smell bacon?
And she is going to cast a spell on herself and then is going to try and strike you. Blanc. And even with that, she fucking misses the attack. Wonderful. Second attack is a miss. Third attack is a miss. She flubs all of it. She lands no hits on you, Creed. It seems that her shield arm is dragging her down. And as her attacks end, Zarya, you find yourself a nice little seat behind a window in a second floor of a building behind the formation, where you found a nice table to prop up the terror's reign as you simply wait for the signal.
Who?
And so, Creed, it falls back to you as the spear simply bounces off your shield as you expertly parry the attacks.
Creed's Alright, this is out of character question because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask someone who does know. Cactus.
Hmm.
How much is it? How much does Athena historically care about honor?
Athena historically, it depends on the concept, or on rather who the honors are guarding. If it's for like Athenians, she cares a lot about the Athenian honor, and like that sort of thing. She cares a lot about female honor when it comes to like
Equality.
quality and virginity and like sanctity of marriage and that kind of thing. Right? She cares a lot about that. Honor in war, not so much.
Where would she stand cowardice on the field of battle?
In what concept? From like her own men? From like Athenian soldiers?
Well, what is the standard she sets regarding
Punishable by
cowardice on
death.
the battlefield?
Punishable by death.
There's a reason I asked that. Reed, being the smart boy he is, has got some feathers inside his shield. He is going to cast fear off of the crucible of sin.
So you grab one of the feathers and place it in your hand around the grip of the sword, and you simply plant the blade down, and you feel the aura push out towards her. She will try to resist.
For what that is, in case you don't know, it's a Wisdom 16 save.
Yeah. So she will not resist the fear as it starts to creep into her. You can see that between the wound that you gave her and the feeling she is getting from your weapon in particular, it seeming to be a stronger aura than normal. It She seems to stumble and step backwards. Her soldiers don't seem to pay much attention at this point, as they are still widely fixed on you and your troopers. But you can see that something has changed in her mentality.
What appears to be the issue? Are you faltering? Or do you wish to flee the battle in dishonor?
I've just started to fight. Don't speak down to me, mortal. I am still a god. You will still pay me the respects I am earned. As she's saying that, she seems to be trying to keep herself standing in the right direction. You can tell that something has definitely shifted. But she's not going to let others around her know. But you can tell that some of her fear has been replaced by anger at your statements.
You can tell she is shitting bricks.
There is no dishonor in yielding a fight.
There is for those who have finally been given a chance to take back what is ours.
Well, I will respectfully have to disappoint you. And he's going to cast Guiding Bolt again.
Alright, roll the hit.
That's 22.
That's a hit.
Bro, your guiding bolt rolls are so much better than mine ever were.
That's a 16.
Yes. So you hit her again with it, and you see her stumble backwards as the bolt hits her within the armor plating. The shock pushing her, leaving scorch marks on the breastplate, as she faintly glows that default glow that you know so well from utilizing these bolts. And she seems open to attack.
You can yield. You can end this. You can walk away with honor.
I would rather die here than give you another inch of land, commoner.
Then you shall pay for your ignorance. And he'll just again kind of post up.
I would like to be doing like a constant like insight check on her, like watching her super close to make sure that she's not up to anything like sketchy or
So
kind of
roll me
cheating
insight.
anyway.
Roll it. Do it.
It's a dirty 20.
That's a dirty 20. You see that from what you know of the stories of Mythos, that she's fine to the level you imagine, but you always thought the gods were going to be a lot tougher, that they were going to actually put up a fight. but she seems to be fighting with her strength. But there's something off about the situation. Something you can't put your finger on, but you definitely have the bad gut feeling, like the one you get before an ambush.
I will send those feelings out over the ring, just like, hey, everybody be like extra vigilant. Like shit may be going down.
Zarya, with this feeling being pushed to you from Father Fly, roll me perception. Boop. So you, Zarya, from your post, you're seeing something in the distance about 300 meters out from your window. Through both your eyes and the scope you're using on your the Terror's Reign, you can see that there are some individuals on a rooftop further down into the city, past the Old Hound District, on a building that looks across the river and has a very good line of sight on the area of where Athena is currently fighting Creed. They seem to be setting up a large weapon emplacement, something of a ballista of sorts, that they're trying to put together quickly, as if to fire down on that area. It seems to have 3 sets of arms and fire 3 large bolts at once. Even to someone of Creed with the armor, excuse me, the armor and shield he wears, it would still be devastating if one of those were to hit him. And so you can clearly see this.
Do we have a way to communicate? Yeah, right?
Yeah, the telepathic ring.
Then yeah, I definitely want to be like, we need to get out of here now. And then like explain as simple as possible. Big boom boom to coming to this area.
Or can we dispatch like some soldiers to go over there?
Well, you do happen to have a 30 mil cannon and a sniper in a window that could probably dispatch it, but it would be a break in the silence. But when Zarya says this over the telepathic rings, that feeling you had in your gut, Nate, grows stronger as you kind of figure out what her play is.
Does Cactus have a line of sight on that area? I guess you'd have to if they're trying to shoot at us. And then I guess I will call out into the, over the commotion of this one-on-one fight, and be like, something to the effect of, you have us here watching this fight. Do not think we'll be distracted by your too distracted to notice your other ploys at work. And I'll like point to the ballista being set up and see if Cactus can get a shot at him.
What exactly? You never actually explained what weapon systems the chariot has.
You have essentially a 30 mil on a crows and dumb hydras.
Oh. So it's Bradley, basically.
Essentially.
I got a Bushmaster, but except for toes, I got Hydras.
You got hydras that only fire off your 12 because of the way they're set up on the chariot. But you essentially have a
hard
Bushmaster.
point on it.
Yeah, they're hard points. But your turret has relatively good rotation. But yeah, with Zarya's information that she got from her perch, and then Nate basically putting them into gunner commands for you, you're able to basically swivel the crows, and the camera feed from it. Basically, you can see the ballista being set up, and you confirm through the camera of the gun that it is a very large ballista that would fire basically 3 large ballista bolts, and it seems to be aimed to try and take out Creed. to try and remove the command element from the military.
Right, so I'm just gonna ready an action. If I see any of them step towards it, right.
They're still building it, like they're putting it together. They're trying to
Okay,
assemble it as quickly as possible.
I'm not gonna interfere with that because technically, we don't technically have a ceasefire at the moment, but it's an assumed ceasefire.
Yeah, you're basically waiting for them to show
Yeah.
malicious intent, and then you're just going to evaporate them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are these the Hydra 72s or Hydra 13s?
So those they're essentially 72s. Like they're low
So they're
yields.
the big boys.
Yeah, they're low yields, but they're big. But you'd only be able to hit that building with your Bushmaster because it's 300 out and it's at the top of the building.
It's still, yeah, it's fine. It's still a 30 mil.
But you hear Athena, you see Athena react to Father Fly calling that across the battlefield as the other soldiers around Athena now seem to question what's going on. As you hear whispers of, a ploy? What does he speak of? I thought we were going to be doing this with honor, with integrity, as we were asked to do. And so you see that the soldiers seem shaken, and Athena seems frustrated. You think by seeing what I do, you will have an advantage in this fight, in this war? It's already over. You've lost. You think if you strike me down, you'll be able to survive the others?
Creed's gonna do the tutting southern. As someone who's supposed to represent wisdom and honor, you seem to lack both. How embarrassing.
As you say that, you see her strike out with her spear at you, almost in a fit of anger. And as she strikes out, she plants the tip of the spear into your shield as you simply come up to guard, and you get a reaction to essentially strike back.
I'm gonna go ahead and do a good old another hellish rebuke.
Alright. And it's a 14 or 16 for the DC.
I thought you had to take
13.
damage.
13. So she fails it, and so she hits that shield as you bunker in, and the flames erupt once again down her weapon and across her, having her step back as the clothes on her arms catch fire, her arms becoming singed from the flames, giving you another opening to strike.
First of all, that's a 19 with the hellish rebuke,
Okay.
and with the crucible of sin.
You remember you have Bardic still.
Yes.
1d.
Wait. So it's 1d8, so that would have been.
It's so roll a d8
I
to
screwed
your
that up.
12.
Sorry. Yes. I'm not used to having inspiration.
I'm not used to
Got a
these
13.
buffs. Oof. So you hit her spear away, but you don't hit her in your strike. And you see that she has become enraged. How can you speak of honor, of wisdom, as you stand against the gods? As you stand against a war that you cannot win? As one speaks of honor, weren't you the one that was hunted down by your own house? How you traded colors once you left the region, once the gods finally set foot back on this barren soil?
The fact you question that, the fact that, again, for one who's supposed to be known for wisdom and honor, cannot understand. I may have pledged allegiance to both Leandros and the Glass Keep, but I pledge allegiance to Leandros, the War Master, the man who has shown honor. He could have fled. He returned to his keep to take it back from the monster who would kill him and his people. I pledge allegiance to the true Glass Keep, not whatever perversion currently occupies it, being crushed to the heel of one of your so-called gods. I speak of a man I speak of a man with such honor that the deepest betrayal from those closest to me did not break me. If this is what you wish, and you wish to not yield, and you wish to die with what little honor you have, so be it. Do not attempt to lecture me. I have seen more honor in those cowards in the desert who attempted to betray me than the very god that claims to stand before me. Thank you, Ares.
You wanted to say hi. He's cheering you on. Cheer him on.
With your words, you seem to shake her to her core. As the anger ebbs and flows, she becomes conflicted with the idea of honor and what she stands for. And she seems to step back from you. You see her armor and her arms scorched and burned from the blows from your blade, as well as the fire erupting from the shield. And she steps back and goes, enough of this! Enough of this plebeian aristocracy that you have in front of me, of this whimsical fantasy of fighting and winning this war. Kill them! Kill them now! And you see the soldiers around her don't raise their weapons. They have them at a low ready. Even not that. They simply look at her, befuddled and concerned. These soldiers, now that you're able to see them, look to seem to wear the colors and armor of those who had existed in Athena, or Athens, so many centuries ago. They seem to have been soldiers ripped from a time pocket, or brought with her as soldiers that would follow her to her own death, and that the time she spent in the void between worlds has caused her to degrade. And they have lost confidence.
May I?
Creed would. Well, would you like Creed to give a speech first, or do you need to do your thing first? Cactus.
I was gonna do the exact same thing you were, but I have much higher persuasion roll.
I have with me a being such as yourselves. He guides the chariot that brought me here. He knows of your history. He knows of who you are and what you stand for. If you can, in good conscience, and on guarantee of your honor, raise your weapons and strike me down, now then do so. For, and I'll look back at Athena, what I see before me, despite what my honor and chivalry may guide, I don't see anything to follow. And I'll think through the link of the ring. It's like, your chance now. Your turn.
Climbing out the driver's seat.
Okay.
Thaumaturgy, same thing. You men, you bravest of men. In your age, I came from the same world as you, merely much the farther forward. You brave men left a legacy of fighting for honor and glory and democracy, for the rule of law and the freedoms of man. Your actions as a people to resist the tyranny of the oppressors of Xerxes, of the Spartans, inspired the world. Men of your caliber and of your skill are better deserved fighting for a cause worthy of you, and not someone who would dishonor their own, who would shame their own honor and the name of your city. A people named after her. You dedicated your city to her in all of her glory. And look at what she has done. Thrown away her own honor and yours in the process. Join us. And if you do not join us, then at least do not hint. For we simply wish to return peace and democracy to this world.
They seem conflicted as they look between themselves. As your words ring out among the soldiers that were also in the fortification, have now stepped up to the walls, looking upon you of Creed, a father fly of the chariot, your soldiers, and the rest of your forces that have begun marching through the town, clearing it of resistance, finding pockets of prisoners to free. And then they look at Athena, as you can see that each of them, as before with the ones that were in front of the gates, all wear the colors and clothing of Athens. She begins to scream at them, to fight, to kill the enemy in front of them, to do what has been asked of them, to be given this chance to fight again instead of spending their years in Hades' domain. And none of them move. As there seems to be this falter, Zarya, from your perch, you see that the ballista has been fully assembled. Those that were working on it and arming it have loaded the bolts into it and have begun to aim it at Creed. You see one of them has made their way to the trigger mechanism as they command the others to adjust its aim. You feel that you have one shot to make a difference.
Shoot the mechanism.
Yeah. Can I try to shoot the boom boom?
You have a dirty great 50 cal. Fuck that mechanism.
So there, from what you can see, there are no explosives on these ballista bolts. They are just large bolts. But because you're using essentially a 50 caliber rifle, just firing at that mechanism will destroy it. But you need to land the hit.
Oh boy. Well, I've got. Hey, I guess I go do that then.
So you will have advantage because you've been in a sniper nest, and you have
Okay.
you have height advantage. So you essentially have taken your time to find your shot.
Okay. Hopefully. Here we go. Woo! 25.
With the 25, as you all are standing there, you hear words trickle down through your telepathy ring of a warning from Zarya as she sees the ballista being aimed. And then you hear a single loud rifle report ring out from behind you in a 2-story building about 30 meters behind. The round fires as you then see in the distance the ballista on top of the building, the entire structure of the mechanism of the carrying chassis of this weapon just explode into splinters, throwing the crewmen that were building it, arming it, and aiming it thrown over the sides of the building into both the concrete and the water below. The troopers that are standing around Athena now seem to have made the decision made for them. They throw their weapons down and walk away. The gates of the fortification of the prison open, and you see a large number of troopers, of Athens soldiers, walk out with no weapons on their person, simply dropping them where they stood, seeing the dishonor that this god has brought them. And they simply walk, hands above their head, towards your line of scrimmage. And Athena finds herself alone.
Hey, Creed.
Hmm?
Fly. Zarya, we came to find out if a god can feel fear, right?
I think so.
And, we know she can feel fear a little bit. You want to figure out if she can feel terror?
No. Is she still standing?
Yes. She seems conflicted between rage and fear and sadness.
Reed's going to slowly approach. Still behind its shield, obviously.
Right.
Your forces have seen wisdom. They've recognized that honor is a question that has been asked today. Do you also, as the goddess of wisdom and honor, understand the issue that you represent?
The only thing I recognize is the mistrust in weaklings of mortals. The only thing I should have trusted in was the strength of the monsters that we had found, that we had created. If you're wishing for me to yield, you will not see it. And you see her lift her spear and, in an instant, jump at you to strike.
Guess this is my chance to make a decision, or
So, yes, you will be striking at the same time as her. So, she rolled the hit. I need you to roll the hit.
yeah, thank you very much, Dice. I really appreciate that. It flittered on 19, and they went 3.
So, she jumps at you. You took a moment to take a defensive stance. You go to bring your blade to bear, and all it does is that it strikes the shaft of the spear as it comes down. You see the spear go through the shield and strike you in the shoulder, pushing you back with her. You feel it deal damage to you. You feel yourself take 16 points of piercing damage. When she tries to pull the spear back, it seems to be stuck between your bone and the bone that makes your shield. And now she seems even more flustered as she struggles to remove the spear. You just raise your sword, and you would have advantage on this strike. And you have one thing to say.
So first of all, I don't just want to stab her. I want to cause pain. I want to cause damage to myself as I do this.
Okay.
I want to push myself further down the spear
Okay.
and bring the sword up into her.
Very good.
Alright, so that's
You have
16.
advantage.
And, come on, beast.
16. So that would be enough for what you're dealing with here, as you take an additional 6 points of piercing as you push through the spear, and you shove her against the wall of the prison as you force your weight of your armor, of your shield, of your sheer willpower, and you knock her into the wall. She bounces back from it, releasing the spear and shield from her arms as the wind is knocked out of her, and you simply drive your sword through her abdomen and stick her against the wall. As you drive your sword in, you feel it make contact against stuck in the stone. The silence of the strikes, of the ringing of metal, is replaced by screams as you see her grab the sword as she is raised above it, as the gravity pulls her down, as it almost seems to melt through her, the blood steaming and boiling away, her screams echoing throughout the city. And you step back, the spear still stuck in your shield. You simply pull it away out of your shoulder, breaking the shaft in twain, dropping the pieces to the side as the spearhead still sits in its injury point, but you are now free to move. And you simply watch as her life force drains away as gravity and the sword do its work.
Can I do something?
Yes.
I'm gonna I'm gonna hit Creed in the back of the fucking head with a potion of greater healing.
Don't hit him with it. Just
No,
walk up to him.
I
It's
am.
gonna be a critical hit.
I am
if
not done here.
Yeah, let him do its thing. You can heal him afterwards.
I assume some remnant of her is still here.
Yes.
I did not want it to end this way. For that you have my sincerest apologies. You fought well, but not well enough. I'm sorry.
You see through gritted teeth, she makes one final word to you. I may die here, but soon you will also die. As she seems to be holding herself up off the sword as she says this to you. Through gritted teeth and hatred that runs through her, she just simply tells you that you will die and she will be laughing when you get to hell. And she simply releases her grip on the sword as it rips up through the rest of her body as the weight pulls her down and the blade stops at the top of the chest cavity as the life leaves her eyes, the blood boiling out of the wounds. As the life force leaves Athena, the sword sizzling away, the rest of the Athenites have dropping their weapons and surrendering to your forces in the city of Falkar. You look out in the distance of the horizon to the colossi that resemble the silhouette of Athena, as you hear thunderous cracks like claps of thunder, as you see the statue begin to shatter and fall to pieces, falling into the ocean, as the only thing left standing is the two pieces of stone that represented her legs, standing as spires against the darkness of the veil.
Creed's gonna go ahead and pull his sword out and sheath it. Handle the prisoners. Treat the wounded. If you have need of me, I shall be in my chariot.
You see your soldiers move out quickly to check on the prisoners. You hear whoops and hollers from the rest of the city, loud foghorns signaling from the knights as they patrol through the city, signaling victory over Falkar, over success in your endeavors. The soldiers move into the prison and begin opening cells, retrieving civilians and Glasskeep soldiers alike. A few in particular are brought back to the chariot, as Cactus, you sit with Creed as you remove and dress the wound the spear left, handing Creed that potion of greater healing you had stashed away. Zara, you return from your sniper nest. As Father Fly, you speak with some of the soldiers as you try to help with some of the managing that needs to be done in this town for fortifications, as they ask you questions, and your knowledge of military strategy helps as Creed is being tended to. A few of the prisoners are brought to the chariot. They simply stand outside. They wear the colors of the Glass Keep, as one can imagine, their chests carrying the sigil of knight sergeants. You, Creed, notice or recognize one of them out of the three, as though you yourself were a Knight Sergeant, there was many of you within the Glass Keep, and so it was hard to keep track of who was where. But they recognize you as you sit in one of the seats, having your wounds tended to, putting down the potion to gain the healing back of what wounds you have taken in your fight with this god. And they look at you, stunned, as they knew that you were here, that they knew that you were here before, and that you had disappeared when the veil fell and Folkar came under attack. They go,
Creed, you're answer 17.
Thank you.
yeah.
Sorry.
They go, Knight Sergeant Creed, is that you?
Technically, yes. Although I suppose the answer these days would be Watch Commander. But as far as I'm aware, I'm still a Knight Sergeant in Glass Keep.
We thought you had perished after we saw you last. We heard that you were sent to the Great Scorched Sands to find a killer for the Glass Keep, and we didn't see you since. But then the broken spire erupted in light, and these monsters came out of the horizon. I guess we didn't think much of it until we heard of an army marching towards us, wearing the colors of Ravenholm. We never expected to see you here, let alone dueling a god.
I've always wanted to say this line before. I don't care if I shouldn't know it in character. Well, news of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
As it seems. We are glad to have you here with us once again, as your combat prowess has proved beneficial to getting us and the rest of the civilians out. Now, as the Glass Keep has been cut off from us and we have nowhere to go, what should you have us do, Watch Commander?
Stay here. Continue to defend Folkar. We will be leaving some forces here. And more than likely, whatever is left of the holdouts regarding Athena's army will more than likely be coming here looking for a fight. There are still innocent people to be defended. And the fight is far from over.
As it should be. May the glass and stone overwatch your travels, Knight Sergeant Creed.
As for you.
And you see them step off, gathering the rest of the Glass Keep forces that were here in Folkar, gathering up what Athenites have surrendered and putting them into the prison to be sorted through and see if they're of useful soldiers. They seem to gather the weapons and gear that Athena's forces utilized and rebolstered their forces to essentially keep the town of Folkar under their control for the time being, making sure that they are not caught unprepared once again, as now they know that the forces they fight are not immortal, but simply difficult to kill.
Sorry, I was listening to something. Was that directed at me?
No, it was just more of, it was them just talking in context.
Sorry.
And so
Sorry.
the town of Folkar has been taken under friendly control, and you guys are able to move your forces where you need to go next.
Where? To the south?
I think we need to go see about the Glass Keep.
Very kind of fidgets. It's like, do we have to?
Yes, we have.
It seems like a good source of fighting of warriors.
As much as I'd love to go there, coming in like a white knight, might I point out, the last contact we had seemed good enough. Then they tried to kill us. Oh, no. Alright, let's go.
Can we leave like the same amount of forces, like this collection of forces in full car, so that when we meet up with this group, like we have like relatively the same amount of.
Yeah, you can essentially
Force.
just leave that force here, and I'll just basically move the holding force to full car, and you guys will have your full army going south.
Okay.
Unless, yeah, we can just basically just keep the whole fucking battle.
We don't really switch places with them, but that way we can keep some. Force
Logistically,
in
you
full
do.
car, yeah.
In reality, you don't. But like logistically, we'll just
Yeah.
hand wavy the
Like it.
tokens.
Move the tokens. Oh yeah. Obviously, leaving behind any like broken trucks and stuff like that that can't move or whatever. Yeah, or if we can get them fixed, I guess.
What's in push?
For that fucking meme.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, he sent me a meme. Funny as shit.
So you guys basically move to the northernmost part of the Great Bridge, uniting yourself with a holding force there as you move your army down across the bridge. The bridge itself is multiple kilometers long. It spans between the southernmost peninsula and the glass sands that hold up the glass keep, go figure. And as you begin marching down across the Great Bridge, you see across the horizon that Crom has formed a large force of soldiers to besiege the Glass Keep. They seem to be utilizing the same level of technology as what Athena had, give or take a few centuries. Trebuchets and catapults, siege engines, large walking bulwarks, siege towers even, all giving them a somewhat core of approach. Flying creatures through the air seeming to siege the walls of the Glass Keep that you would recognize from Celtic mythology as banshees. Creatures that seem to be covered in the reeds and the sands that stand around them, seeming to walk almost like covered in living camouflage that you'd recognize as gillies, another Celtic monster of mythos. Between them, Celtic soldiers, berserkers, and the like all seem to form his ranks, as his army seems significantly larger than that of Athena's, being the Celtic god of war and of a group of soldiers that were always fit to fight whoever would try to oppress them, seemed to be put into a conflict they know not of. And you see that the Glass Keep is at least trying to hold its own. Its weaponry and its soldiers firing from its outer walls. But as you ever encroach further, you see that smoke plumes from the first wall, and that only from the second and third do the reports continue to fire. Once you eventually reach the outer regions of the glass sands, do you see that plumes of smoke have now begun to erupt from the second wall, and now the third inner wall and the citadel itself have begun to fire down into the crevasses created by Crom's forces. As you get within range of what you would imagine would be the effective fire range of their guns, nothing is fired upon you. You do see the glimmer of light pass across your eyes as you're walking towards it, finally making your way across the Great Bridge. The knights, tanks, and APCs and troopers all slowly making their way across this massive structure. Once you finally reach land once more, those of you in the chariot, including you, Cactus, being the driver, see that a shining light hits you in the eye and kind of passes across and disappears. And then it hits you again and disappears. Catching your eye, you look up to the outer wall that is closest to you, and you see what looks to be a signal mirror.
Bitch ass, I don't fucking Nate. You know what these signals mean? With your fucking captain brain and your fucking officer education.
Yeah, would I know what these signals are? I mean, they're
Yeah.
obviously trying to like get our attention, but like,
You
are they
you
trying to relay anything?
you would know that they're basically they're calling for your attention. They're basically saying they're under siege and asking for assistance. That they don't seem wanting to fight. From what they can tell, is that one, they recognize the chariot, so they know that it's you guys. Secondly, they see that you are not monsters nor gods, and so they're like, help. So you're basically getting the idea of SOS or assistance required from these messages, and that they're currently under siege. And that's essentially what you get, and basically an invitation to join the party.
Yes, what we need to do is we need to find a hill that we can all like crest over at the same time, kind of like as the sun is rising.
Oh my fucking.
Um,
All
and
right.
just an epic speech, and then I'll just charge down the hill at this city that's being besieged. Um,
Do we have the capability to signal back?
All right, fucking the road hero has come.
yeah,
Okay.
hell yeah.
So yeah, you'd have
Yeah.
a pretty basic way of
That's your
signaling
space.
back by using
Um,
either small mirrors or otherwise.
May I? Pardon me, but despite your grand plan, might I respond?
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. So they know that
Um,
we got
here's
their
a-
signal. I was too
One
caught up in my
person here
speech prep.
is going to love this. You're gonna love this cactus. Korea's gonna respond. Hard pressed on my right, my center is yielding. Impossible to maneuver. Situation excellent. I am attacking.
Love it.
And just he's going to also message to hold the line.
The signal responds, line is holding at third wall. Third wall compromised.
Bloody hell. I'm
That third wall is the farthest one out, right?
No, the closest
Ew.
one in.
Closest one
Third-
in. Okay.
third wall is the one around the center. Your grand plan may be put on hold. They are in danger of losing the keep entirely.
Do we see Crom anywhere on the battlefield? Are we close enough to like
So you
Point them
guys
out.
are, so if we zoom in on the glass keep, Crom is
Although at
essentially
first thought, I've already killed one god. You want me to do it again? Like, bro, give me 5 minutes.
So you guys are basically coming across the bridge. Crom is attacking from this direction and is breaking into the keep through here. That's where a majority of his forces are being aligned. You guys are basically coming in from the north. So you wouldn't have eyes. You would see some of his forces moving through Bracken's Pass towards the keep, but you don't see him. So you're basically approaching from here, and you guys do see that there's a gate that they are trying to open. Where basically above or below where the guy is signaling you, on the outer wall that he is standing on, there is a large gate that they're trying to open, and it's opening slowly as they basically want you to get into the city. And you guys can either enter into the city and fight outward, or you can try and go around the glass keep and fight the forces in the open.
I would recommend going around the outside. Attempt to draw their
On the
attention
outside?
away and hold the. Try to draw fire from the inner lines. What? If you wish to take it house to house, street by street inside the keep, so be it.
With your forces, you would imagine that an land conflict would be better suited for what you're bringing. Since you have essentially metal beasts and the knights will not fit comfortably within the glass keep. They will possibly cause more collateral damage just by maneuvering than they would be by attacking.
Lore question for this Grim.
Yes.
So, as a Night Sergeant, Creep was just sent out there to solve problems, basically.
I mean, you used to be stationed in the keep, and then you were eventually sent out to
Yeah.
solve problems because you were good at it.
But what would the real world equivalent be of that? Would that be like a U.S. Marshal?
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Or in, like, military terms, you were, like, SOFOD or Delta.
Oh.
Or I guess the better equivalent would be like Green Beret, because you're basically being sent in to solve problems and like help establish training centers and like get guards set up.
Oh. I have a stupid idea.
I love stupid ideas. What do you have?
So, where we're all sitting inside the chariot, can I like look Nate in the eyes?
Probably. I mean, unless you make him uncomfortable, I guess.
What Creed is just going to
I'll
casually
keep that eye contact all day.
he's going to like shuffle around his pack, and he's going to have one hand underneath a bundle of cloth and another on top, and he's just going to hold it out to Nate.
Okay.
You're going to need these for the upcoming fight.
Hey, like I always say, look good, fight good. You know?
Do you take them?
Yes.
When he lifts his top hand, it's his Night Sergeant sigil for the Glass Keep.
Oh, buddy.
Consider yourself enlisted.
Oh.
Yeah, Creed just the equivalent of deputized Nate as a Night Sergeant.
So, from what Creed has told you about his job before, Nate, is that you would essentially understand that what Creed's position was that he was essentially, I guess, the equivalent in terms of being a Green Beret. Because that was his job, is he would go out and set up essentially asymmetrical warfare. He would go and clear up towns, do recon, report back, make sure everything was shipshape. If he had to, make arrests or otherwise eliminate individuals or take them down into custody, etc. Like a mix between a marshal and a Green Beret. And so him giving you this sigil, you know what it comes with, and you have an inkling as to why.
I don't see where we're going with this, but I'm here to play along. I'm here to
Well,
do the thing.
the way I see it is, if they look up there and they see the equivalent of the third in command of a keep fighting alongside a Night Sergeant of the Order, well, I'd wager quite a bit of gold that the morale will skyrocket. They're going to fight twice as hard to repel anything against that third wall. Whether that entitles you to the duty and the responsibilities of a Night Sergeant, well, to do like the hand juggling thing, that has yet to be seen. But as you said, fight good, look good.
Okay,
And-
but do I get hazard duty pay?
Get what?
Never mind. We're good. Let's do it.
Do I
No,
get
we don't get
that?
hazard pay, and it's not service related, Nate. Let's
I
go.
can tell you one thing. Is if we do survive, I'd wager that you'd probably get quite a good-looking cape out of this.
Dope. I want the cape and at least a 3-day 3-day pass for my reenlistment. Let's go.
I suppose. Why not?
I want a 3-day pass and a cool cape. Let's fucking go. Those are my terms.
Hey, you know what?
These are my
Man knows
terms.
what he wants.
Just, you're getting pulled in the Delta. You understand that? Yes, and I want a cool cape and a 3-day pass. What do you not understand?
Yeah, that's straightforward.
And a 27% interest rate Dodge Charger.
There you go. No, that's enlisted. That's not
No,
officers.
the meme is now the meme is now Audis.
Oh god,
Oh,
that's,
yeah, that's
right.
true.
Oh. Why can't we go back to the Charger days where everything made sense? Anyway.
37% interest? I'm 100% interested. Let's go.
So,
It used to be Mustang.
yeah, it did used to be Mustangs, and then it was Chargers, and now it's Audis. It's like, what is happening?
These bougie Joes.
These bougie Joes. Yeah, so you
Let's go
guys
kill another god. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Kill another guy.
So basically,
for the
what
record,
is?
My gun
I'm like putting my clothes on. Like,
Cool.
let's go kill another god.
Let's do it.
For the record, I don't know fuck about this one. So, I know Ares, I know Shiva, I know Baldur, I know fucking Athena. I don't know
You
shit
wound
about
me,
this.
Cactus. You wound
I can tell
me.
you, we are not gonna have fun. I looked it up.
I think we, I don't think we want to be getting into one-on-ones with this guy. I think we need to keep our firepower with us and just lay into him what we can.
So now it comes the question of how do you guys want to do this? Because you, like I said before, you guys knowing of what forces you're bringing, is that in an open land conflict, much like with an armored platoon, if you fight in open land, you have the upper hand because mobility is key. With this situation, you guys have very high technology armor and guns. So fighting something in the open is going to be your best bet. But that doesn't mean that you can't put a force inside the keep and try to help establish a line at the third wall and then basically hit him in the side with your heavy hitters. Because, like I said before, your knights may not fit well in the keep, and they won't be able to work at their best effective range, because they're going to be having to deal with a pretty dense urban environment. Whereas, like, your tanks and knights could probably go to the outside of the keep and use the grounds to their advantage, where the rest of your troopers, your vehicles, could easily fit inside the roads and do some out.
That makes sense. I mean, like, kind of, have the tanks and knights mop up whatever forces are outside, and then the troopers go and fight in the city. I'm guessing this Crom guy is, like, in the city also, like, leading this fight against this third wall.
More than
I'm
likely.
guessing they would want to be there when the breach happens so they can lead the charge into it. So if we go with the foot into the city and, like, fight our way to the, like, that third wall area, then we'll probably find Crom.
That's a pretty solid, educated guess. Solid.
I'm guessing these gods have, like, an ego thing, so, like,
Oh, 100% if you haven't
I don't see
noticed.
them, like, letting their peons take the glory from them if they could be the one to lead the
Have
the
you
battle,
ever
so.
played or watched God of War?
No, but I've, you know.
Like, if you watch a playthrough of the third one or the new ones, it's very, like, they basically how they play the gods is very apparent to how I'm doing it, where it's like, yeah, they think they're all high and mighty and they're arrogant and egotistical because they think they're the best of the best, and then it's like, oh god, he can kill us, oh no, and it's panic. So, you know,
Athena literally bet an entire town's fate on a one-on-one with me. So, you know, not exactly subtle or rational.
I also wouldn't put it past them to, like, be able to feel or know when one of their other members is killed.
I mean, the Colossi did
It's-
collapse out in the ocean. Kind of a big flag.
Yeah, so like now that they know there's something out there that's killing them, they'll probably be more or less potentially less likely to wager in a one-on-one.
Well, it begs
Just my
to
thought.
see. But, so if you wish to do that idea, essentially you guys will enter through the northern gate and enter into the glass keep, and your army will sweep to the outside. Or, well, your heavy, so your tanks and knights will sweep to the outside. The rest of them will enter inside the city. Zop.
Please tell me you don't have to roll like 400 different attack rolls for this.
Oh. Oh, I'll tell you. I have a macro on an Excel spreadsheet. No, I don't fucking do that shit. I have army rules for this because this isn't the first time I've rolled like an army simulator session. This is I have a system in play. Don't worry about it. A lot of it's math, surprisingly. It's a lot of 40k math, actually, like tabletop math. But regardless. So, yeah, you guys see the knights and the tanks take off towards the western approach of the city. As you see them round around the glass keep, you start to hear their weapons begin to fire. As you hear calamity ensue from inside the walls. As you enter through the first wall, then the second and the third until you're around the main citadel, you come face to face with the calamity that has opened up within the glass keep. You find that the inner citadel has been fortified significantly. The entrance to the west, as the glass keep had cardinal gates for each wall. That the southern, and northern, and eastern ones remain intact. The western ones have been broken through with significant force from siege towers and catapults and whatnot. As you guys enter and maneuver around, bringing your forces behind you, the APCs and soldiers moving up to secure the line, their weapons beginning to fire as they approach, as rifle reports return fire from along the roads and pathways that lead to the third wall gate. And you see that these people you're fighting are of a different breed from the Athenites you fought before. They seem aggressive. They seem stronger and slightly faster. The rifle reports are simple weapons that they've picked up from the glass keep soldiers. Otherwise, they fire arrows or themselves running into melee combat. They're larger troopers representing berserkers carrying the skins of bears on their back, running headlong into the fray with axes the size of a small man. And it is chaos at the gate of the third wall. You can tell that the signal mirror was correct. The third wall has been compromised. That they intend to breach it, as the door seems to have been taking a number of attacks, as you hear a deep thumping from what seems to be a breaching ram trying to break through. You see some of Crom's soldiers have broken into the wall and are using it to traverse the gate entirely, running through it to remove shooters and guards from inside of it to let their troopers make it through easier. Your soldiers reinforce the line. And in the coming hours, as you and your troopers fight, your APCs fire into the fray of those coming out, alleviating the pressure that was put on the soldiers here. Your own troopers pulling injured ones back and getting them into safety while they take their place. It seems that with your additional forces, as breaching teams are sent in to clear the wall, that you only lose about 30 or 40 of your own troops to Crom's advance. Outside, your tanks and your knights seem to do well. against the encroaching force. One of your knights falls after being hit by multiple volleys from catapults as it is caught off guard as its leg was injured. The rounds now landing into its chassis, causing its engine to finally collapse and detonate. The rest of the tanks continue to push as you hear the explosion shake the city as the knight's core finally gives out. It has now been 4 hours since you arrived. The wall still stands. And then, at an instant, you hear a deep thumping, almost a slow and rhythmic feeling in the ground approach. Cactus, you hear in the radio that you have patched into the communications of your troops here to essentially be the pinnacle of communications as you're using what you have to your advantage. You hear that the knights report that an engine of war is making its way towards the third gate, that they tried to stop it and one of the knights was injured in the process and it simply threw them to the side. And that deep rhythmic shaking is it approaching the gate. You hear reports come back from the soldiers in the wall as that they have secured it. Though taking their own losses, they have put more losses into Crom soldiers than anything else. And that shaking continues as they now have visual confirmation of what this is. It seems to be a golem of stone, of sizable width and height, charging in almost slow motion as its body carries its weight in rhythmic fashion, running headlong towards the gate. Its back seems to be smoking, billowing out puffs of energy and powder as it continues to run. The soldiers in the wall signal for a retreat, them getting out and running back towards the line of advance you have set up, holding the inner citadel from the wall. The shaking continues to intensify as it draws closer. The communications becoming more frantic as those pull away from the wall and begin to push through the enemies outside. You hear reports from your knights in the tanks that they have stopped all siege engines from entering the city, and that whatever is left inside is all the forces that Crom has left, and that nothing else will make it through. And so now it seems that you've been put into a position where you are now stuck between a rock and a hard place. As the impacts continue until finally they stop for a moment. As you hear echoed across the line from soldiers as they duck down behind the walls and sandbags they've erected of just the word brace, as you see the shape of this creature, of this monster, come crashing through the door of the final gate, crashing into it as its body breaks through the stone and wood, splintering bars across everything, stones shattering. And as it lands in the archway of the door, you can hear it ticking, like a loud grandfather clock.
Oh shit, it's a bomb.
The soldiers panic as they pull back further, trying to retreat as quickly as they can, the APCs pulling away from the wall as they try to gain distance, as the golem detonates.
Question.
Yes.
How far away is it from us?
Far enough that you won't be affected.
Fuck.
Far too close.
Far
That's
too
the
close.
answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the question. right?
What?
Is it possible to dimension door to it dimension door under it and get it and just teleport it out from existence.
So again, we've talked about this. That's not how dimension door works. It is a
It creates a
one-way door.
Yeah,
It is-
I was going to go to it and then create another portal just to some fucking where for it to go in. It to
They
fall
can't.
into.
It's a door big enough for you.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like you open. It's not a portal gun. Like it's
We're not talking Who Framed Roger Rabbit here.
yeah. It's like it'd be one thing if it was an actual bomb that was big enough to fit through a door. Then you could essentially dimension door it, open up another one, and throw it through. But this isn't what you're looking. You're looking at something that is massive in the huge category.
This is a Titan from Attack on Titan that's stuffed with nitroglycerin.
But second question is, I did get a good look at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so you get a good look at it as it kind of comes crashing down and lands into there, and it detonates, and it rips a massive hole in the wall, basically leaving no fortification from where it was. The hole now being a easily 200-foot wide gap in the stone. And as the dust starts to settle, you hear whistles and hoops and hollers as you see shapes begin to form through the smoke as you are rushed by the soldiers of Krom. One shape does not run. He stands heads in height above the rest. A large stag skull sitting upon his head. His body uncovered except for the leather pants that he wears. His boots, a stiffened leather covered in blood and soaked in soot. He carries a large greatsword as he steps ever closer through the chaos, striking down whatever Glasskeep soldier or your own troopers that try to approach him to fight. At
Great.
one point, he just
He's
simply
getting-
raises his greatsword and points at you in the chariot. You hear him yell, "Sir! These are the great gold killers that have seemed to find themselves on my battlefield. Oh, I am not one to disappoint, hence why I have gained the mantle of the God of War. Stand where you wish to die today."
I'd like to stand back in my old world. Can we do that?
Can I go out the top and then down the front of the chariot?
Yes.
Also, Zarya, I'll give you, or Zarya, I'm gonna tell Zarya over the fucking telebans. I'll give you, or I will dog sit Scout for a week for free if you shoot him in the balls.
I'll do my best.
Is anyone else joining me? Or is anyone else joining Creed?
Stepping out of the vehicle.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
Yeah.
going out.
I'll disconnect, but I'm just gonna sit on top of the vehicle.
Creed, you told me to say thaumaturgy.
Yes.
Do the voice boob thing.
Yes, the voice boom thing.
I would say this is sufficient, would you not?
What do you mean,
Gandalf?
sufficient?
Well, you told me that I should stand where you wanted to die. And as as one who once pledged himself to the Glass Cape, this was a beautiful city. Should a rather fitting end place for you. And he'll just kind of flick out like a chunk of spear from Athena.
You just like throw the
That's-
spearhead towards him.
Yeah, just dismissively flick it towards him. I'm thinking not one step backwards.
So you see Crom look at the spearhead. and he simply plants his greatsword in the ground, and you see him put his hands on his hips, and he seems to bellow back in laughter. He goes, I knew today was going to be a good day. If you've chosen this spot to be where you've lost stand, then so be it. God killers.
If we're being technical, that would just be me.
I'm gonna do something I haven't done this entire
he
campaign.
soloed that girl.
I'm gonna do something I haven't done this entire fucking campaign.
What?
I'm gonna pull out my loot.
Your loot?
Yep, and I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to make it really fucking loud.
I know it doesn't matter or anything, but when I made the point, I'd like to do I like the little like light breeze for like moves the cape behind
Yes,
me.
you have a dramatic billowing of the cape as the camera pans at knee level as it circles the two of you.
Damn, look good, fight good, you know what I'm saying?
Good fight, good.
And so he sees all of you standing there. He sees Cactus on the chariot pulling out the loot. He sees Nate and Zarya standing behind you as you stand forefront, surrounded by your soldiers as they all fire and fight amongst themselves against the encroaching barbarians. Crom, as he continues to laugh, cheerful and bellowing in his approach, picks up his greatsword, laying it across his shoulder, and goes, Fine then. I've been looking for a real fight.
Grim, I have music for you.
And what's
you
that?
You don't have a music bot.
I know, I'm sorry, I don't have a music bot.
DMing this to you. Make it happen. This is
Make
your
it happen.
guys' battle music.
Alright, hold on, I gotta... Oh no, what's happening? No, I hate it. I hate you so
no,
much.
fuck off. It's amazing.
Hold on, it's gotta go back. I gotta get it to... Hold on, it's gotta pull up, and now you're making me adjust all my stuff mid-combat, and I have to click buttons.
Hey, it's the first and only time I've ever gotten to do this.
I know. It's a good thing.
I would say that I'm already. It's not very long, but I like the picture for that. It's oddly symbolic.
That's part of the reason I begged it.
You're doing. Does that? No. Oh.
Oh yeah, we can get down to this.
And so you see Creed and Crom start to square off as Cactus is just hammering away at the loot, almost sounding like an entire band is behind him. And Nate and Zarya, you two step up as Crom did not single him out for a duel. He just wishes to have a fight with those that have killed the last god and that have made this place what it is. He looks, you have given us entrance into this world. You have brought us back to a world that is ready to be shaped in the words of men and gods alike. Fight me! Bleed me! And he simply charges at you. So let's go ahead and get initiative rolled for the four of you. 3 is. Zonketh.
Ouch. 3.
I got a 19.
Since I'm gonna be casting spells and buffs in this. Basically, I'm gonna be throwing out fucking.
You want to
Bardic.
take last in the initiative?
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm just gonna be here. I'm not actually directly participating in the fight. I'm providing background.
Alright, so you will take basically last step in the initiative, and so it will be Creed, Zarya, Crom, then Nate.
Does everybody get to start with Bardic?
Sure. Yeah, everyone will
Yay!
start with Eternal Bardic from the bard in the back. Alright, so
Is your Bardic an 8 now?
Yeah, it's an 8 now.
also it lasts until you pass
It's
using
an
it.
8. Yeah.
Oh,
if you
sick.
if you use your roll and you fail, it doesn't consume the roll.
Alright, and also remember you guys have 4 fate points currently for auto rerolls.
Alright. I got 19.
Yes. So you go first.
Gonna go ahead and do the old gold guiding bolt.
Ye old guiding bolt.
What's that bar? It's a D8.
D8. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and get a little help on that. Hopefully. How about a 15 to hit?
That is a hit.
Sweet.
I mean, he's a berserker. He ain't wearing armor. He's just a thick'em.
He's basically a barb. He's a barbarian.
That's 16 points of damage.
Good. That is a good slap into it.
And then I'm going to close and engage.
Close and engage. Do it.
24 to hit.
24? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a slap. That's a hit.
That's a 13, which, hang on, let me check something quick. Well, so this is another D&D question.
Yeah.
So, according to this, I have 4 level 1 spell slots and 3 level 2 spell slots.
Yes.
So that means I have 7 total.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Is there any chance I can burn a level 1 to hit him with a divine smite as well?
Yes, if you
Yep.
limit that. So okay, there's two kinds of paladins, right? We talked about this. There's paladins who declare their smite before, or who declare their kindness before they roll their attack, and those who declare it afterward. And yeah,
Because essentially, when you cast smite, it basically makes your weapon all glowy and covered in radiant fire, and then it lasts for a minute, which is 10 rounds of combat. So it will last until you hit something.
I was gonna go for the extra damage.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yep.
you can do it
can use
before or
different
during.
information.
It's either or.
Cool. In that case, I don't. Let me reread the thing real quick. Make sure I did the right thing.
as Nate found out, I saved my smites for when I need to bitch slap the shit out of somebody.
You just need to. Yeet them
That's
into the
gonna
distance.
be a total of 19 damage to him
Yes.
with that sword strike.
All right, and then you get your second, or no, you use the guiding bolt.
Yep. Hey, if you want to give me a third one, I'm not gonna say no.
Well, no, it's more I was making sure that all the actions are being used, and so yeah, so you basically hit him for that, hit him for that. So yeah, you do some good damage into him first. Basically, you charge at him, you fire your guiding bolt, and you come up with a sword swing. And as he's coming down to swing at you, you kind of come underneath of him and get him through the side. And again, much like with Athena, as your sword strikes and cuts through the flesh, you hear it sear and sizzle as steam and the blood begins to boil. And as this strike hits it, unlike Athena, Crom does not seem to be affected by it. He does not seem to scream in pain and agony. He seems to just laugh. He goes,
Better than what I thought he was going to do.
"This is, you know, when the last time I saw my own blood was too fucking long." As he just seems even happier to be in this combat with you.
I am more than happy to oblige you.
He's, "I like you." And then it's Zari, it's your turn.
Still in like a city.
Sort of,
What
kind of.
remains?
What remains of one?
I want to go find a hidey hole again,
All right. I mean, you can definitely
or
pull your.
back into something where I can still see and pew pew.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably find yourself a spot a little bit further back away from it where you have clear visual line on both Crom and the gate.
Perfect. But then I want to shoot. Actually, first I'm in a hunter's mark because I always forget to do that.
Very good.
Wait, not at level 2. I just want a regular hunter's mark. Okay, thanks. Yeah, do the thing. And then he's also my favorite enemy, obviously.
Obviously.
Natural 20, baby!
Jesus Christ. Off the get-go.
Well, get fucked. Here we go again.
Here we go.
Alright. Start clicking all of my buttons.
Rattle them, boys.
Oh, do I get a sneak attack?
Yes.
And then another 6.
I just hear like Zari in the background just be like, rattle 'em, boys. Boom.
Okay, however many minis that is.
That's a lot of minis. Did you want to fire again?
Yeah.
All right, do your thingamajig.
Aw, not as
That's
cool.
that's a hit. Not as cool, but it's still a hit.
And then, ooh, that was an 8 too. Nice.
Nice.
I'm just gonna be feeding you fucking music.
So those were all good damage, and you see these two shots ring out, and as Crom turns to look at where the shots come from, you see him get hit twice by these beetles in his chest, as the first critical just rips through him entirely, taking a chunk out of him as it flies past. It hits some poor sod behind him as you just blow him into evaporated pink mist. And your second shot hits him, and you see the beetle kind of sink in and start to chew on him as you see Crom reach into the hole, pull it out, and squish the beetle. And just looks at you and goes, "Sneaky, sneaky. I like you too."
And then there's the DC 16 con to see if it's beating.
Beating.
It's a beating.
He's doing a beating. That's a song lyric change. Keep bleeding love. Just
Keep bleeding blood.
yeah. So he's definitely doing a bleed. As you see, the blood is letting out of him. It's definitely not making the same effect as what the Crucible of Sin does, but you definitely see he's taken some hits, and he seems ecstatic.
Yay!
Oh, he freaky like that.
Oh,
He's a little nuts. He's a little batshit. And speaking of batshit, he's gonna swing down at Creed. So his first swing misses. Second one is a crit. Third misses. Yeet. It's not. That's too many dice. Too many. I hit the button too many times. Yeet. So Creed, you take ha-ta-ta. You take 20 damage.
Oh.
Big
Cool.
oof.
Oh yeah. I'm down to about quarter. But if I had to give a number out of 100, I'd say it's a probably solid quarter left.
You go ahead and yeah, he succeeded in the attack roll.
Wait a minute. Oh wait, no, I can't. Shit. Huh?
I mean, you still have your
I
reaction,
think-
if that's what you're
Yeah, I was
looking
gonna say,
for.
Hellish Rebuke him, please.
Alright, so that is a DC 13 dex. Yort. He makes it.
Alright.
Does he take half damage, or just it's a do or do not?
Half as much on successful, so,
Yeah, so roll your damage and he would take half.
what's half of 23?
11.
So,
Because
yeah,
we don't do
he takes
halves.
11.
So yeah, so he takes 11 damage from the fire, and he is big oofed. He is now doing a singe. And now we find ourselves with Mr. Fatherfly, Mr. Brother Captain Father Flyicus.
Oh yeah. When we leveled up, I took the Metamagic Adept feat,
Very nice.
and so I would like to cast Guiding Bolt at first level, and then spend a sorcery point to use the Twin Spell feature and shoot 2 Guiding Bolt beams at this dude.
All right.
I believe at advantage since he already got hit by a Guiding Bolt already.
Since he was already hit by a guiding bolt, we're adding additional guiding bolts. So yes.
Oh yeah. All right. So first one. 21 to hit.
That's a smack.
And second one, nat 20.
All right. Roll your damage.
All right. That's the nat 20, 31.
God damn.
And
damn.
here's the other one. Oh, that's too many. Why is it? It's not 8d6, is it?
For what?
For guiding bolt?
It's literally double whatever your damage is because you got a crit.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't want to crit twice.
Yeah. So for like right now, level 2 paladin guiding bolt is 5d6.
Yeah, guiding bolt's wicked.
But it's not. Yeah, it's showing up as 8. That's not right.
Because you said you cast 2 of them.
I know, but one was a nat 20.
Which is double whatever the standard rule would be for it.
Yeah, so it'd be 4d6.
Okay,
For
hang
your
on. Let me just
second
roll 4d6 for you. All right. So 13 plus 31, 44.
You just go hachapa, and you just hit him twice with guiding bolts.
Hell yeah.
And just you slap him real good, and you see him kind of stumble backwards as he just yells and laughs, and he's like, as you see him begin to grow slightly larger. And we're at the top of the turn order with Creed. All right, Cactus, did you want to do anything? I forgot that you took
yeah, I'm gonna
last.
hit his, or he can take a deck save.
Okie dokie. Make a deck save.
For some fairy
Make a
fire.
deck save. Blah. He makes it with 17.
Okay, fine. Then I'm gonna go ahead and whack on a unsettling word bonus action. The next, he can go ahead and subtract a 1d8 from his next saving throw.
Okay. Got it. Right. What else you got? Is that it? All right. So, Mr. Creed.
Alright. What do I do? Well, I'm about out of spell slots, so the only one option is keep stabbing.
Just keep
It seems to
stabbing.
give him some sort of perverse enjoyment, but you know I can't really help that. So let's go ahead and do some stab and see what happens.
Do a stab. Also, you'd have
19.
advantage, which doesn't matter, but you'd have advantage from the 2 guiding bolts that Nate hit him with.
So it's going to be 8 points of damage for the first hit,
All right.
and
Your second hit would be at advantage as well.
am I? Where am I in relation to him? Like, am I facing him head on?
Essentially, yes.
All right. Nah, I'll just go for another stab.
Moss stabs.
Does a 15 hit?
Remember, you have advantage and Bardic. You silly man. All right, so roll your Bardic on your first one.
Yeah. Does an 18 hit?
Yes, you do it.
Hey, there we go. We got there in the end. And that's 9 points of damage.
So yeah, so your 2 swings definitely get him good twice, making 2 more burning and festering cuts in his body as you swing through. And he seems to falter a little bit from everything that he's taken, as he's just been getting hit left, right, and center. But he's still standing. He's still laughing. And you can see, being close to him, that he is growing in size.
Ooh woo.
Don't you ooh woo me, Cactus. You gross.
Where's the button? Where's the button? Where's the
I was
button?
muted,
Where's
but I also oohed.
Yeah, no. I'm not sure if you're aware, but you appear to be getting bigger.
He's getting the gains.
Oh, I'm aware I'm getting bigger. And I'm getting stronger too. That's why I love fighting. Because it lets me get stronger every time I get through a scrap.
Are you a fucking orc?
Essentially.
Yeah, does not go well.
Does it look like he's taking the damage though?
Oh yeah, he's definitely taking the damage, but he's definitely getting bigger. Alright, and so that brings us to Zaria.
Well, you know, I just do the one thing that I do.
I cast Gun.
I do the pew pew
I try to finish the fight as quick as I can with Gun.
with gun.
With Gun.
The T20.
That's a hit.
And then all of my other dice.
All of my damage die.
1d6. That's my first hit, and then I do it again.
I do it again.
Another dirty 20.
That's another hit.
Whee!
Whee!
Gun, go, gun!
Go, go, Gun. You have 3 shots left, by the way.
Okay.
Before Gun goes click. No more Gun. So, with that damage, you fire another 2 rounds into him, doing a significant amount of damage into him. You do 78 into him just in those 2 shots. And the 2 shots knock him, and this time his body doesn't really move as much as it did with the first one, where they seem to burrow in and they seem to start causing him to bleed, but he just doesn't pay attention to it. He just seems to be reveling in the fight, as he has stopped growing, but now he stands easily at 10 feet, if not taller, as he's now just a monstering, hulking entity in front of you. And you can see around you in the fight, as he's kind of gaining his footing, that the rest of your forces have been doing their job and have been pushing back the approaching barbarians and trying their best to hold the line. Some of them have gotten through and were subsequently crushed as quickly as possible by the soldiers, making sure that nothing passed through the ranks with the assist of the APCs and their weaponry. Some of them getting into melee combat, but thankfully the Glass Keep soldiers, being well versed in those methods, seem to be supporting the Ravenholm troopers to the full extent of their capacity. So the battle seems to be turning in your favor, as you seem to be holding the attention of the biggest threat. And you see Crom lean back, opening his arms, holding his greatsword out. You see him breathe, or let out a sigh of relief, as you see steam rising from his body as it is transformed. He just looks down at all of you and goes, I've always felt like I've been living in a world of cardboard. I've always had to hold back, to pull my punches to make sure that I don't kill my opponents outright. And it's shown me that you lot seem to not have that problem. And so now I get to go full out. I get to put all of my force behind my hits to take the city as my own and use it as my foothold for the rest of the plan that I have set forth for this region. I will be the king of the gods in this century. I will take my rightful place among the pantheon, and you will not stand in my way. And he lets out a deep, guttural roar that I will need each of you to roll me a wisdom save.
Wait.
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Dirty 20 for me.
Yes.
There's something about this.
I'm gonna roll that. What is it? A D8?
Yeah, a D8. That bardic,
Yeah, I'm
sweet
gonna-
bardic.
16 for me.
All right.
You said wisdom save?
Yes.
I got an 18.
Yep. And then cactus.
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Oh, it's a charm effect, right?
What?
19.
Oh, 19 minus 1, so you got an 18. But, so all of you pass it. Zara, you pass it with your bardic. Very good.
Thanks, Hudson.
You're welcome.
And so, as he lets out this bellow, you feel an aura of fear pass over you and simply pass through you as you all stand stalwart against this monster. And he comes down to swing at you, Creed. But he seems slower in his strikes than he used to. And the first swing comes down and you easily step to the side as the greatsword hits the ground and seems to shatter the rock that was beneath of it. His second swing coming at you and also missing as you simply step and parry to the side with your shield. In a fit of rage as he's missing, you see him get a burst of energy as he goes to try and swing again, trying to strike you down as his fervor overtakes his reasoning. As he misses his first strike and his second, and for his final third also miss. Because, of course, as you simply parry and dodge your way around this monster as the sword leaves chunks of the stone beneath it broken and splintered on the battlefield. You see him breathing heavily as the steam continues to rise from not only the wounds you've given him, but just from his skin in general, as his body continues to grow in strength. And we find ourselves with the Father Fly, followed by Cactus.
Hell yeah. As my bonus action, I'd like to summon my spiritual weapon and go to Bonk.
Bonk.
I'm gonna use my bardic on that.
Very good.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
That's
19.
That's success. That succeeds.
Okay, so 9 spiritual weapon damage.
Very good.
And then as my action, I would like to, I guess, you good with a bonus action spell and then an action cantrip?
Sure.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I will cast Sacred Flame, and I need him to make a Dex saving throw of 13.
Dex saving throw of 13. All right. All right, and he has disadvantage, so he had that one. What was the lower one? All right. Yeah, so he doesn't pass it.
All right. So he takes 15 radiant damage,
Very good.
and no, never mind. Okay, he's
Alright.
good. That's it.
All right, Cactus.
I'm gonna keep playing.
All right.
But like the best thing I can do to support you guys is to keep playing.
All right, you casting anything else? You just continue to give Bardic.
Well, I can't touch him, so. And I'm 90% sure he has a jacked ass wisdom score.
Okay. All right. So
So there's, so that's it.
Phantom with the jump scare, you bastard. All right. So that means we're at the top of the turn order with Creed.
This guy's big. The walls are pretty big. Gonna... I'll be stabbing him in the leg. But, we'll go ahead and do the fear thing again.
All right.
Wisdom 16 and a feather from my shield.
All right, and then we're Zappa. He fails it. He becomes feared.
So he has to take a dash action and move away from me by the safest available route
So he
on each of his turns until there's nowhere to move.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right, you got anything else that you want to do?
Yeah, so, hypothetically, if I wanted to throw something and have it stick in someone, what would I have to roll?
What is it?
A longsword.
It'd be athletics.
Alright. Does a 19 work?
Yeah. You throw it, and what were you planning on doing?
Well, I've been lugging a longsword around I don't really need anymore, because I have this fucking cursed sword. So, just throw a longsword, have it wedge in him, and I figure when he's moving and trying to flee, it's gonna move around.
Fair enough. So you throw this longsword with some good heft, and it sticks in his leg as he continues to kind of disengage from you and step away, because he's going to try and get away from you. You get an attack of opportunity against him.
I'll go ahead and give him a stab, see what happens. 22.
That is a hit.
A whole 5 points of damage.
A whole 5 points of damage. So you slice him as he steps away from you, and again the bubbling blood and searing flesh, the trademark wound type from the Crucible against these gods. He, for once, seems afraid, and he seems conflicted, much like Athena, where his belief in his superiority, his belief in that he'd be able to win this fight with relative ease, has been broken as he's forced to step backwards away from you, as he seems to believe that something is in front of him that isn't there. As he steps away from you, you hear him beg and plead to someone, as he seems to panic that he's going to be judged for his failure to not be able to kill the simple mortal. And as he steps away, you hear him mention the name Zeus.
Uh-oh.
And that brings us to Zarya's turn.
Gun?
Gun? Yes, gun.
I think I have one more shot.
Yeah, you got one shot left in the chamber.
Oh boy.
Make it count.
19.
That is a hit against him.
God, sorry, why do you roll so hot? Fuck me.
She's the ranger, my guy. She's doing her job.
Roll. Your rolls have been so fucking hot lately.
There's gonna be one day where she just misses every
Oh,
shot.
hi.
It's so high. Yeah, 43 damage into him. So this round catches him off guard as he's backing away, and you seem to knock him on his backside as he is trying to move away from Creed. And then this round hits him, and he seems to falter onto his back as he tries to pick himself back up, and push himself away. As the sword that Creed put into his leg seems to hinder his movement, and he just continues to push. He continues to move away, move towards the wall where the breach occurred. As he pushes past his own soldiers, they seem to stop and stare as they are then simply mowed down by the troopers on the line. And you see that the soldiers get cleaned. They just get removed from the fight. Those that don't make it to the firing line and aren't taken down by your own soldiers, your own firing line, seem to pull back with him in fear that something else has come as he continues to say the word Zeus over and over as he runs. And you see that he gets out of your area, and those that are left that continue to fight are simply swept away by the battalion-sized force you've brought with you. And you can see Crom running back towards the opening he had made in the glass keep. And that's his turn, which brings us to Father Fly, where you guys essentially are out of combat as the combat has ceased.
I want to run back to the chariot and radio the knights and tanks that radio the knights and the tanks to finish off Crom as he leaves, because we need to get. I think we need him dead.
All right. So you radio to them as you hear they've been sweeping up. They return the communication saying that they see a lot of soldiers leaving the city as it looks like the morale's been broken. You hear one of the tanks call back they have eyes on Crom as he seems to be trying to make his way out of the city. And through the radio, you hear the whine up of the knights' cannons. And from your position, you see 7 blue lights all turn on in a ring and just fire on the entrance that they had created into the western gate of the glass keep, glassing whatever was there. The dust settles as their autocannons and such sweep up what's left, and the sound of thundering cracks echoes through the horizon as you see the statue of Crom in the ocean give way as the plaster breaks and the stone shatters and all of it falls into the ocean, signaling the demise of another god. And at this point, your soldiers with the glass keep forces sweep up what's left. The knights and tanks set up a barricade at the breach in the wall as fortifications are built quickly to try and make sure that nothing sneaks through. The battle has been won. The siege pushed back by a simple action of causing it to recognize fear. And you all stand around the chariot as the glass keep forces push forward to set up the fortifications, your own soldiers setting up overwatch and moving forward to help put additional forces on the site. You stand and watch this all occur as you see a number of maroon-robed individuals exit out of the citadel and walk towards you. You all can recognize that their robes and their pauldrons are decorated with seals, parchments, and chains, signifying rank on top of the sigil that they have across their breastplate. You can see that these are the watch commanders of the Glass Keep, each of them representing one of the different walls, multiples based on their cardinal gates that they've watched. The commander themselves of the Glass Keep's guards, for there's one per wall, and then there's the one in the inner citadel that you had met prior. They also find their way out into the plaza of where you had your final confrontation with Krom, for both him specifically. They walk out to see you. They recognize the chariot. They recognize you. The one person that takes them a minute to recognize is Creed, as he stands there behind his chitin shield and his crucible of sin in colors that are unrecognizable to them. But they seem not bothered by this. They walk forward and simply say, "It's a wonderful thing that you arrived when you did. We weren't expecting reinforcements from anyone, including the War Master. Why did you choose to come here? Put yourself at risk to alleviate the siege on this fortress after everything?"
Some of us take the oaths we swear very seriously.
We imagine that you would not take our apology sincerely for what occurred in the scorched desert. We did not know that they would target you in the place of those around you. We only told them to find the Kingslayer. We did not realize that they would try to take you in as well, or to use you as bait. Our apology means nothing to you, but you being here and pushing back this siege means more to us than you can know.
Just to clarify, you said that this is one of the people who sent the assassins after me.
So, if this is the commander for each of the walls and the citadel, as well as all the watch commanders.
Okay, and then what were they called? We called the Triumvirate.
Essentially, yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the non-Illuminati was called.
The non-Illuminati, that is, you have the Eyes of the Prophet and the Covenant.
The Covenant, that's what
Yeah.
it was. Kriya's gonna ask if there's any of them still around.
Are you speaking about the Eyes and the Agents of the Bulwark?
Are there any of those of the... What? Yes, I am.
They fled once the gods arrived. They were the ones that had put out orders to make sure certain individuals did not make it back. Without our knowledge and without our guidance, before we could stop any of the orders, it was too late. But once they had left, we realized what they had done and how far their roots had gone into the Glass Keep itself. We have been trying our best during these times of war to fix those problems and to make it so that does not happen once again.
Very disappointing. Oh well. Ever onward. Let's get your men on the walls. We have much to do. We are not our final destination.
They nod in solidarity as they feel like they cannot speak to you after what they've done and now the debt they owe you and the military that you brought with you as well as your party that stands with you, that you all fought valiantly to not only get here, but also while you were here.
Ew. Real clear back. Before I forget, 3 very important things. 1, my service for the glass keep is done. 2, Nate, where's Fatherfly?
I'm probably like tending in the tune to the wounded.
You see the gentleman out there tending to the wounded, wearing my mark. The man is owed, and I quote, a fabulous cape.
And a 3-day
Third.
pass.
Third, he has some conditions. He wants a... Just talk with the man. Whatever the man wants, including the cape, you shall give it to him. I have men to attend to. And Kree will just turn and walk away.
You see them all give you the salute of the glass keep, and they go, "Of course, you are a guest here, Watch Commander. You are... We are ever in your debt."
Oh, I know. I'm aware. Just keep
And
walking.
you just keep on walking, and they shuffle on to go do their things. They send one of the watch commanders to talk with Father Fly about his conditions and what he wishes from them. But you find yourselves and your army basically staying here for the next 12-ish hours or so. The first 4 are essentially for you to establish fortifications and make sure the Glasskeep can defend itself. As you know, there are still gods out there that have been terrorizing the landscape and otherwise. And so after... What up?
While they're doing that, I am going to I'm gonna take the time to gather up a couple boxes of rations and hand out rations, hand out food, make sure the soldiers eat, make sure they drink, make sure they check their ammo, make sure all of the party eat and drink.
Yeah, it's... You basically would be helping with the logistical care as your own
UNCO shit,
military.
goddammit.
Yeah, you know, as your own logistical group from your military is setting up shop, and they're getting their sea crew out to make sure that all the troopers are accounted for and taken care of as best they can. And so you spend the first 4 hours taking care of things and refortifying the keep to the best of your ability. The next 8 are quiet for the most part. You hear the sounds of battle beyond Bracken's Pass, but it is not of your concern. You have fell 2 gods this day, and 4 more still exist along the countryside. But one thought trickles through your mind. That Crom spoke of Zeus. He spoke of him in fear, of terror, of judgment. You feel that your fight is not fully done quite yet. But you do believe that you have put the fear of mortals into the gods, and you have shown that they can truly bleed. And so for the first time in months, where you have been thrown into this fight that you have been pulled into, that never needed you, but deserved you to be here. For the first time, you can sleep, much like when you were at Ravenholm before you left. You sleep and you feel solidarity among your dreams. Cactus, you once again dream of your home. You dream of your dog, Ares, your parents, your basement, your amenities, everything that you missed and loved, your favorite bar, your car, the roads you traveled. It brings you a sense of joy, a sense of longing, a sense of homesickness, but not of a bitter feeling, but of a longing with a conclusion behind it. Ares, the god of war, Mandy, the god of war, that guy, Ares.
Yeah. I
Not
named
Ares. Ares.
I named my dog after the god of war, Ares. He's my
You-
Airy Berry.
You
Do
silly
you want to
panda.
introduce yourself?
Zarya and Nate, you two dream once again of your home, of your kids. Ah, good boy, Ares.
Introduce yourself. Good boy.
You dream of Scout, of your home, of your life that you have been separated from for months. You fear for everything that was there, but the homesickness does not pass through you as it did the first time. That it feels as if you're much closer to your goal than you were before. Whatever these dreams may signify, you feel as if the end of your journey is near, and that going home is not as such a far-fetched idea as it was when you met with Max almost a year ago. And Creed, as you dream, your dreams are strange. You dream of a tragedy, of an explosion, of a ticking clock. You dream of walking a passageway within the snow-capped mountain into a cave that has iron bars across it. You dream of speaking to someone you haven't seen in many years. You dream of time passing and of a second chance. You dream of failure, but also of success, of a bittersweet victory after a long-sought war. Your dreams are confusing, and they seem to throw images that foreshadow what may come or what may never pass. Dreams are never ones that you always tended to promise. You leave that to those of the seers and priests that would guide those of the less knowledgeable on their pathway through life. And as you awaken to the new dawn, those dreams settling into your minds, becoming another book on the shelf of your mind palace. You awaken to a calmness throughout the glass keep. The civilians have begun rebuilding. The guards have continued setting things up. Everything seems to be set for the time being. You all feel stronger, your connection to your inner selves strengthened, as you all gain another level to a total of level 8.
Wait, we're already level 8.
The next one. The next number.
The one after that.
The one after that.
Hell yeah.
You all become level 9. I even messed up like my nice monologue by saying the wrong fucking number. Good job, me. Woo!
Out of 10.
Hey, I'm
10
ready
out
for
of
you.
So you gain another level, you become level 9. And as the morning crests, you feel that your journey may be coming to an end, but you believe that victory is in your grasp and that your pathway home is closer than you think. And that is where the session will end for today.
Hiya.
Hiya!
Hi-yo! Alright,
I know, Grim. I now have 5th level magic.
good. Because there's 2 sessions left, so I mean, use them, burn them, throw them out the window.
Yeah, there's
So, yeah.
starving children in Africa who don't have that many spells.
There's
Yeah,
people
fuck
in Africa who don't have 5th level magic.
Yeah. Don't let it go to waste.
Yes, Jenna, we do.
Yeah, Jenna,
Also because-
we start an hour earlier on Sundays because our dear friend Zarya and Nate, Dr. Fishy Biscuits and Fly Dutchman live East Coast, or not East Coast, shit, West Coast, the other side. So
The
they're
other
a
way.
few hours behind us. So we had to find a happy medium where I can get the kids down and run the game, but then also that it's comfortable for them to do it. Uh, which is
Yeah, we
also
keep our kids up.
which is why, like, with school starting at the end of July, beginning of August for them, um, we are going to be closing out this campaign at the end of August with a nice little setup. And so that's kind of what we're aiming for. So, like, when school starts up, they won't have to worry about it because I couldn't imagine me and Carson doing this with our two kids being that age and then also both trying to do D&D. So, like, round of fucking applause for Zarya and Nate for being here this long and, like, living through it. Like, you guys are fucking amazing. But
Look,
yeah,
it's the power of iPads.
the power of iPads. That's
YouTube
completely fucking
kids.
fair.
As a
YouTube
side note,
kids.
Grim, because it's been requested, I have to do one thing before you end the stream.
All right, well, we're going to go through a round table, and then you can do your thing to close us out. So let's do our round table. So starting with Cactus. Favorite thing, what do you want more of, what do you want less of?
Nothing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, fantastic. Blackburn.
I love monologuing. Apparently, I'm coming to realize that I really like monologuing.
I mean, you playing Creed has really opened the spigot of your roleplay valve, and I've been enjoying every second of it.
I don't get a downside, by the way. That's basically apparently.
just
I'm
Creed
phenomenal
loves
at
monologuing.
monologuing.
It's awesome. It's amazing. I love it. Zarya?
I mean, hard to hate a nat 20 again.
Yeah.
The gun.
Casting gun.
Casting gun again with a nat 20. Love it.
All right, Nate.
Yeah, I liked our that last battle with Crom. That was pretty good.
Yeah, you guys have been really using your entire toolbox, which has been making these conflicts difficult. Because it's like, yes, I'm going to have them fight this thing, and it's going to be terrifying. You guys are like, but synergy. And I'm like, fuck. Teamwork makes the dream work. Damn it.
Well, I wouldn't want those kids in Africa to feel bad about us having 5th level magic and not use it, so.
Right? No, I've got to, like, before the session is over, right, I have got to do it.
Okay.
I now have polymorph.
Oh, God.
So, like, before, or not the session, I should say, before the campaign is over, I have polymorph, okay? I'm
Okay.
going to turn into something stupid.
Something stupid?
Because it comes from your memory, right, what you can polymorph into.
Oh, yeah.
And I have all the fuck shit from our fantasy.
Well, you've also run into 3 very large and deadly monsters from a different dimension.
Mm-hmm. And I get their, and while the spell is active, I get their stat block.
Very nice. But yeah, so that's basically the run of the mill. And for those who are watching and keeping up with it, July 30th is going to be the finale of this campaign. We're going to wrap it up really nicely. Then the next campaign probably won't start till 2nd, 3rd week of August, just to give me some time, because the first week of August I'm going to be at Gen Con. So I'm going to be at a convention with Carson. We're going to have a little mini vacation. It's going to be fun. I'm going to try and stream from my phone while we're there, because there's a couple groups of people that we're going to be meeting up with that we are designated spots. And so that'd be really cool, just kind of show you guys like what's going on there and like show you guys pictures and shit.
Yeah, I want to see y'all's cosplays and whatnot if you're doing that.
Yeah. Carson is cosplaying as Meep, which I'm not sure if you've seen the character art for that. That's one of the characters that I drew up for her 2 years ago, actually, that she's cosplaying as. Like, she has, like, the body paint, the contacts, she's, like, dyeing her hair, she has, like, the whole outfit picked up that she's been working on. I'm going as a security officer from the USG Ishimura, which is going to be really cool, so I've been, like, building my own helmet and everything. So yeah, but it's going to be really dope. So, like, we'll send you pictures, and if you're not in the Discord, that'd be the best place to see those pictures. That's where Carson's probably going to post literally all of them.
I'm excited to see.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, make sure you guys tune in for next week, and then of course the week after for the finale of Beyond the Veil, and then we'll see what happens from there. So thank you all for stopping in. Thank you, my players, for being here and being a part of this and making this as magical as it is. And Carson is the legend that gave you guys Eris, and that entire side quest you guys went on last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's been helping me design side quests for the other game, just because she's like, I want to mess with them, and I'm like, go for it, you crazy person. But yeah, so with that, we're gonna close out here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for making this such a wonderful, lovely experience. And so, with that, we're going to raid off into Mr. Dark Phantom, which I know he's probably here listening, and he's about to get some TLC while we get ourselves out of here. So while the raid's going on, bye-bye everyone. Thanks for being here. Say goodbye, players.
Well, bye, players.
Bye, players.
Wow. You're weird.
We're all weird, but it's a good weird.
Ewa, ewa.
See y'all later this week. Check in Tuesday for the podcast. Doug's going to be guesting again. We'll see who else is there.
Yes.
Yo.
Yes, I will.
See y'all later. Bye-bye.
So, Grim, what
Blah,
the
blah,
fuck we're talking about?
Y'all have a good night. We're gonna
Yeah.
get these kids to bed.
Yeah.